The GoPro died yesterday, but I plan on doing a lot of videos tomorrow. The goal is not to go out and just make videos all day. I had somebody message me about a bunch of good questions about living in the van and their own personal situation. So tomorrow I hope to dedicate the whole day to making videos and editing and exporting. I've been slacking a little bit, but getting right into work right now. I have 1 minute before I need to leave, but yeah, work's going well. Making decent cash. I'm about to buy my rifle. I think I'm gonna call my friend's dad. I'm gonna get that on video. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. They have a .7 Win Mag, and I think it's what I'm gonna go for. There's a used one at the gun shop, and I think I'm gonna go pick that up. But I'm gonna get off here and I need to get to work, and I'll catch you guys later. What's going on, guys? So this will be the first video response video I'm gonna do. Essentially, somebody like a regular viewer had a couple questions. Pretty much his situation, things he's thinking about in terms of doing the van life and selling his stuff and all that good stuff that I went through. Oh man, years ago. I don't know exactly when, but basically he has a list of 15 questions. I'm gonna go over them real quick. Just gonna give my personal opinion and my experiences with these questions. Like some of it's questions about the van, some of it's questions about, like I said, selling stuff. So go ahead and get started. First question is, I'm indecisive about what I should do, like my current car, but at the same time I want a van. How do you finally decide going with the van? How did you finally decide going with the van was the best option, and how did you make yourself actually an active plan to make the van happen? So essentially, the way the first van I had was a 95 Ford Econoline, and basically what happened was I just had a dream about driving around in a camper van, just going around different places and going to different cities with my Husky. And once I almost graduated, I had a couple months left of college, I bought the van off eBay for $1,800 and just converted the van into what I wanted. I didn't have enough money to get something like this at the time, but I did have enough money to afford $1,800 for a van. And after that, I did all the work myself with the inside. Built the cabinets, just put the bed down in the back, put a futon mattress on that, and just drove around that way. So with him, I don't know if he talks about it later in here. I was a big Mustang guy myself, just like he was, and I had about 20,000 wrapped up in my Mustang. And this is before I bought the van. I went ahead and sold everything. Sold the supercharger, sold the engine, sold everything, because basically what happened was I spent all this money on my car when I could be spending it on traveling, and it was a hard decision. It's a very hard decision to make at the time. At the time, it was hard. Basically, I remember when I first got the Mustang, I remember driving it around and thinking, man, I'm never going to get tired of this. This is so awesome. And then fast forward a couple months later, I was just, it's good to have, but the nostalgia wore off, So with my own personal experience with that, after I did start to get tired of the car, how can I explain it? I wasn't getting tired of the car. Basically, that feeling of this is never going to wear off, it did wear off. I wasn't tired of the car, but it was, I was starting to view it a lot differently than what it actually was. Like, it wasn't as cool as it used to be, is the best way to put it. And so I sold that a long time ago to pay off some traveling debt and credit card debt, and then used that money to actually buy the van. So I sold that, paid off some debt, and I sold the Mustang, paid off some debt, and bought the first van I had. And then I just got a beater car, like $600, and that was my daily commuter. That's another option. So the plan, with me, I'm very it's very easy for me to, when I make my mind to do something, to just do it. Like there's no second guessing. There's no, you know, like if my mind's made up, regardless of the consequences, I'm gonna follow through. And with a van, that's how I enacted my plan. That's how it actually was able to be pulled off. Number two, I don't know much about cars, and my current one is in great mechanical shape. Aside from a few things, how do I find a van with minimal knowledge of what shape a potential van is in mechanically? That's a tough one. Uh, First of all, I am a car guy. I built my Mustang. Uh, I know how to work on cars, so our situations are going to be different right here, just because with the van it broke down a lot of times on the way out here to Arizona, and I was able to get it up and running once again to make it where I needed to go. So being that you don't have that much knowledge, uh, it's a tough one. Like this is a 1990, and I mean there's stuff starting. Like there's always small things that needs to be fixed. Like it's starting to wear out. You know what I mean? But price wise, if you go with one of the newer ones, you're going to pay a lot of money. The newer camper vans are a lot of money. So to answer that question, I would go. It seems like the Westphalias hold up pretty well, and this is held up really well. It's just small things like the window motor's out, the valve and the propane tank's going out. Like it's small things, but with this, it's larger. And we're going to get to the difference between the Westphalia, my personal opinion, the Westphalia compared to this van. So with that said, I would try and get a newer van, and one that you can test drive. You can take it around, give it some gas. Just be sure to check everything. Check under the chassis. Check for rust. Check for any type of damage. Do the Carfax. Try and get one. I mean, depending on the company, but I don't know much about Westphalias, but this had under 100,000 miles when I first bought it. That's a good rule of thumb, I think, for buying a van. Check and see if the transmission's been rebuilt. Check if the engine's been rebuilt. Those are things that are going to cost you a lot in the future if you don't know about that. Like if it's shifting a little funky when you first buy it, that transmission's going to go out. And transmission on these guys, they're not cheap. Like when I first bought this, the transmission was recently rebuilt, and it was a $2,100 job, $2,100 job, because I have the receipt in there. And it's just one of those things where you definitely need to be conscious of that. Number three, I like both the Explorer and Westphalia, but the Westphalias are too expensive and the Explorers are hard to come by. How do I know what kind of van to get if I want something like both the aforementioned vans? Westphalias are expensive because they hold up. It's just like if you get a MacBook compared to a PC. Again, like that could be up for debate, but basically you're going to pay more for the Mac, but it's going to hold up better and it's going to last longer. And that's the same difference between a van like the Ford Falcons, the Dodge Explorers, the Westphalias. Again, this is my own personal opinion. I never owned one, but this is from my research online. This is what I found. The Westphalias are going to hold up better, but the Explorer is more spacious. It's bigger, and I mean the Explorer gets less gas mileage. You can come across these guys for $3,000 to $4,000. They are harder to come by, but you just got to keep your eyes open. This guy I paid $6,000 for. But it just had the transmission rebuilt, all new tires, new paint job, and it was immaculate on the inside. Everything was working perfect. So I was willing to pay a little bit more, but I don't even think $6,000 would touch a Westphalia with the options this has. So I mean, it's give and take. You can't be in a rush. Essentially, like you gotta take your time, find out what's right, and again going back to the mechanical part, take your time when you test drive it and looking at it. Like put the time and energy into researching the particular van that you'll come across, because with me, I never even knew about a Dodge Explorer before I got this. Like essentially it came up, one of my friends works at an auction house, and he's like, hey, got this camper, you need to come check it out. That's how I got this van. And the same thing might come from you. Something might come along that you don't want to pass up, like a great deal. Just keep your eyes open. Look on Craigslist, look on eBay. Just continuously keep looking. You got to put the time and effort into it to find a van for yourself, or you could even just do the conversion like I did, like the Ford Econoline. That's an option as well. My current car gets very good miles per gallon in both city and highway, and a van offers lower miles per gallon. I'll be staying in this rural area for college where a bicycle isn't a feasible option for alternative transportation, and a motorcycle is too expensive. What should I use other than the van to get around? Uh, so, in terms of this, if you're in college, this is something I thought about doing as well. Just like, why not park the van on college? I mean, when it comes down to it, I don't know how big your university is, but when I went to school, I literally never came home unless to sleep. Like, I was always out, working out, playing racquetball, doing homework, hanging out at the computer lab, doing homework, at the library. Like, colleges are nothing more than small cities anymore. And I mean, again, I don't know your college, but what about the option of actually living on campus, like in your van? That's an option. But I mean, you can always get a scooter or something too if you have to commute back and forth. Again, I don't know your college campus, or maybe you can park close by and just ride a bike to college. Again, like, this is, I don't have enough information to answer that fully, but with that, I would suggest just living in your van on campus. It's an option, unless you have a small campus. My current car is cool and all. I love it to the ninth degree, but the costs associated with it are quite problematic. A single tire costs me $150. How much would tires cost an older van like an Explorer or Westphalia, or alternative van similar to the aforementioned? Tires in this van run around $150 as well, but with the Mustang, you're getting the low profile, street grabbing tires. Whereas this, like, I'll show you my tires real quick. So these guys are Goodyear Wrangler Authority. They're holding up pretty well. The tread is still very, very deep. Again, I got these new. I have had no problems whatsoever with these tires, just in terms of getting places. Like, they've held up really well. They ride fine, but they're $150. I mean, if you get all four, it's going to be a $600 trip for you, and you have to get them mounted and everything. But the fact of the matter is, like, they're great tires, and that tread, I mean, I've been going everywhere on and off road, and that tread has held up great. So to answer that question, it's going to be the same. You're just going to get more for your money out of these, in my personal opinion. And costs in terms of your car, I mean, I think, yeah, we're gonna transition into that. But the miles per gallon thing, another thing to think about. If you're in one spot, there is no miles per gallon. I was spending about $100 a week commuting back and forth to work, but now I live closer to work and I ride a bike to work, and now it's $100 a month, probably, like, unless I take a trip somewhere. But if it's just sitting right here, I don't use gas. Like, it's just a home. It doesn't move at all. Going into question 6. Another downside of my current car is the insurance. I had to BS them to put my father on my primary driver to afford minimum state insurance with a $2,000 deductible. If I get in a wreck, I can't even pay the deductible since I am a full-time student getting financial aid. Only way to pay for school, and reservist in the Army. How much does insurance run you on the Explorer, or possibly Westphalia, for a similar alternative van? Alright, so this is something that's very, very big, and it's very, very interesting. This van cost me $200 every 6 months to insure. That's full coverage up to $6,000 and a $0 deductible. And the thing is, if you can relate that to home insurance, like if anything gets stolen, if anything gets broken into, I'm paying $200 every 6 months. I'm paying $400 a year for full coverage, $0 deductible on this van. So, dude, like, that's a no-brainer. Like, I don't need to explain that anymore. And, that's pretty nice little trade you got going on. Number 7, my car is very fun to drive in nice, warm, sunny, dry weather, but it is nearly impossible to use during the winter weather due to being rear-wheel drive and having over 300 horsepower. So when it gets a little icier, snows just a bit, I'm stuck wherever I last parked till the snow melts. How does the Explorer handle on ice and snow or other vans as opposed to my current ride? Alright, so I'm not going to lie to you, I haven't driven this in the snow, but It is rear-wheel drive. It's not all-wheel drive, and I do know how Mustangs are in the snow, even in the wet. Like I said, I built a supercharged Mustang before. Uh, I can guarantee you this is going to handle better than your Mustang, and it's going to be able to get out of spots. Again, I haven't driven this in the snow. I can't really tell you, but my honest guess is, since it is so heavy and since I have meaty tires on it, I think it'll be fine in the snow. But I mean, even if it gets a little hairy out there, you can put chains on these tires, and it's going to handle, I believe, fairly well. So again, I can't tell you 100%, but I can 90%, 95.6% sure tell you that that it's going to be better than your Mustang in the snow. Go back to inbox. Number 8. How much does it cost to fill your van's tank, and how far can you get on a single tank? The reason why I ask, if I go with the van like the Explorer, which I want because of the space it offers, I plan on driving it from where I am currently, staying to campus, and maybe parking it a few miles down the road to his truck stop every day, rather than making the 40 mile, 80 miles round trip commute. Alright, dude, if you have, how far away is it? A few miles from your campus, you have a truck stop, dude. It's perfect. If you just drive this back and forth like that, or even keep it on campus, if you had something like this, that'd be awesome. You'd barely spend any money. You cook your own food in here. You'd be saving yourself a lot of money. In terms of gas, though, it does cost me around $130 to fill up my tank, and I have about a 400-mile radius on that tank. That's a 35-gallon tank, I believe. So I mean, even the money you're going to be saving on your insurance, dude, it's going to more than enough pay for your gas. And then, I mean, I think I remember you telling me you don't have rent because you're staying with your parents, but when it comes down to it, you're going to be saving money regardless if you just do the van thing and just commute a couple miles back and forth. And at truck stops, I mean, I've never had any problems. Again, I never stayed there long term. This is something you need to look into. But I mean, I've stayed at truck stops a couple days, no questions asked whatsoever. I mean, I obviously went in there and bought some food from time to time, and actually purchased stuff. But I mean, you have to do more research on your own in terms of that truck stop. But if you have that option, that's awesome. Number 9, I sleep in the car when I'm not crashing in my parents' attic. Would you say the investment for the van is a nice long-term solution for those who have the options of being homeless again, living in your parents' attic in their dilapidated house, or just knowing I will never be able to afford buying a house or renting an apartment? I'm already a minimalist and can fit everything of my own into the Mustang and still be able to sleep in the back. Would that mean the van would be a nice, comfortable compared to imposing with your friends and family and have enough space to do what you have, mostly books and a few clothes and a guitar? Absolutely. Especially if you're already in the mode of not having a lot of stuff and not needing a lot of stuff, this is going to be perfect for you, man. Like, it's going to be like your own little clubhouse, I guarantee it. If you're already to the point where you can sleep in your Mustang, like, we keep going back to this Mustang thing, dude, but when it comes down to it, I know you don't want to hear this, but sell that car and trade it for a van, dude. Like, right now, I'll do that at the end. But yes, I think it'd be a good swap compared to sleeping on a friend's couch or sleeping in your van. I think it's a no-brainer. Like, I would definitely sleep in the van rather than a friend's couch. 10. After watching videos of people in Westphalia taking off the grid roads in the middle of nowhere, can an Explorer handle what a Westphalia can off-road? I don't know. This is a bigger van. There's a lot more moving around in there. I've seen Westphalias do some pretty awesome stuff. This is rear-wheel drive. I did have this ready to show you. I have a Corona light bottle. Clearance-wise, it is larger. Like, you have another inch or so on the Corona bottle on clearance. So, I mean, you can Google that on your own. You can check that out. But that's the clearance of the van. I haven't seen a road yet that I couldn't go down. So that's something to think about. Again, like, these questions about Westphalias, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you I know what I'm talking about with Westphalias. I never owned one. I don't think I've ever even been in one. So maybe there's a channel of a guy, I'll link it to right here, He has a Westphalia. He does a lot of stuff. So maybe you want to ask him. With me, I know it has a lot of clearance. I haven't met a road that I haven't been able to go down yet. So to answer that, I can't tell you. 11. I'm looking at the Explorer and Westphalia since other vans require work that I don't have any idea how to do to convert the van into something habitable. What other options do I have in those regards? Like I said before, I can also link the video to my first van right here. It wasn't that hard, dude. Took the middle seats out, built some cabinets in there, threw some food in there, and put the bed down. If you're a minimalist like you said, maybe that's a better option for you than an Explorer, because this is it's gonna cost more, and you can also get like a 1995 Ford Econoline not camper van, but pop top van, or not even pop top, conversion van. And you can get those for probably $3,000 with like 150,000 miles. With that said, mine, when I sold it, had 210,000 miles on it, didn't break down once. Small things started going out. The heater core went out. Just paid a mechanic $30 to bypass that. And what else was going on? I mean, I don't think there was anything else going wrong with it. It was a good van. But that's another option for you. If you don't want to spend the money for something like this or Westphalia, maybe the conversion van's better for you right now. Maybe you need to do some eBay searching close for that. Something to look into. 12. If I wanted to visit my parents, how would I get a long van up my parents' driveway? UPS got stuck and had to be towed once when it tried to pull up. Like the Explorer is very steep and very narrow, which might hinder the attempt at going at it at an angle. Again, I can't really tell you without, well, I mean, it'd be better to see the driveway, but there's no way I could tell you just because I've never been up a steep driveway before. This thing is long and narrow. It's a longer van. When you do park in, say, Walmart parking lots, you have to take up 2 spots because it is so long. It's going to be up to you, man. If I don't know how far a walk it is to go up your parents' driveway, but if it's a question, just walk up the driveway, dude. I mean, I'd rather have my van than worry about a driveway, essentially. But I mean, I don't know the driveway. I don't know the situation, so I guess that's going to be up to you, and however it works for you. 13. If I wanted to put solar panels on the roof of an Explorer, how much space do I have to work, and where can I store the batteries and inverter? Alright, so I'll show you this. Set this bad boy down. So basically up top, I am getting ready to do a custom roof rack. I'm going to take this guy off. As you can see, it's starting to come out. Again, this is small things that I was telling you about with an older van, like things like this you just got to put up with and fix. I'm going to take this off and do a wide one probably out to here. It's going to store my custom spot for my kayak, my gold panning stuff, and pretty much everything else that I have. It's going to be up there. I plan on installing a solar panel up here after I put the roof rack on. That's going to be a whole different video. That's a little bit in the future, but that's in the works. It's just saving up some cash right now. Explorers have a secondary battery. It's right down there. Again, I haven't done much research into how I'm going to wire it or anything, but the secondary battery is down there. And so to answer your question, you don't need an inverter, and the secondary battery comes with the Explorers. So there's an actual transfer box in the Explorer, so you don't have to worry about any of that. 14. If I wanted to have people over for some reason in the Explorer, how many people can sleep in it without more than one in the rear bed? So, get back up real quick. I'll show you this. 2 grown men can sleep comfortably in here. Basically, right now it's a little messy in here, but right there, that comes down and goes even right there, and that becomes a bed. And this chair right here swivels, so that can, like, you can put your legs up like right here, and then like lean the chair back. I mean, it's not exactly completely flat, but I mean, when you're out camping and you're tired, you're gonna be able to fall asleep anyway. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. Sleeping 3 people in there, but it's more comfortable with 2, and the back bed is absolutely awesome. I put a futon mattress back there. Uh, Sleeps 2 very comfortably. It's nice and cozy, nice and warm. Pretty cool little spot. Alright. And last question, 15. I currently have 2 plans that I don't involve selling my car, but letting my parents use it as theirs gets awful miles per gallon. I can get the van and live around campus, which wouldn't be too bad, or I could skip the van and get a motorcycle and make a very long commute back and forth every single day. The van seems like more of a viable option, and I'd like some place to call my own and don't want to commute that far every single day, and I continue living in it once graduate and maybe transfer to a 4-year school. The motorcycle would carry around the same initial cost as a cheap van, get awesome miles per gallon, but ultimately leave me living in my car in the attic or at a friend's place, where I'd feel like I were imposing and never find a place. I guess that was just a statement. But I'm gonna go ahead and go on to this. This is an important part. My main issue is I'm having major issues letting go of the car because it's cool. I have memories with it. My first car, I worked my ass off for it and can't imagine getting rid of it. Only replace it with a potential pile of crap. There are so many uncertainties and variables that I cannot account for, but I think entirely too much, unlike the majority of the human race, which doesn't think enough. Selling the car, Kelley Blue Book puts its value somewhere between $14,000 and $15,000. I think of it more than a later date. Would you cover them? Oh, okay, so he did write some more stuff, but if you need to see how steep my parents' driveway is, no, I don't. Okay, so essentially, you're sitting on a car that you like because it's nice and it's cool and you worked hard for it, but I mean, it's a very important point right here. You have a car worth $15,000 and you want to hold on to it because it's cool and it's fast, and even though it doesn't get very good miles per gallon, or maybe it does, and I'm guessing it's a Cobra, by the way. The 99 and 2001 Cobras came with 300 horsepower, so that's what I'm guessing your car is. Stupid flies. But essentially, I think when it comes down to it, you have an opportunity to sell your car and get a really cool van. I mean, to be completely honest, I would, if I were you, I'd sell the car instantly. I'd get a nice van. I'd get a newer Westphalia if I had that amount of money. Or, I mean, if I had that amount of money, I wouldn't have got an Explorer. Yeah, I would have got a newer Westphalia or a newer camper van in general. It just sounds right now like you're letting your possessions own you. Just like one of my favorite quotes is, "Things you own end up owning you." Right now, that car's owning you. You don't own that car. You have high insurance. You're spending a lot of money traveling back and forth when you could have your own home. Like, there's a reason why you're interested in these videos, and a reason why you're asking me this. It's because maybe you need somebody to give you that little push, that little extra, like, yeah, it's gonna be okay, man. Like, maybe, I don't know. But right now, you're sitting on the cusp of something that could be really cool and really fun, and something that you're wanting to do. You just can't let go of the car. It's funny that I had a Mustang. I had a Mustang with 300 rural horsepower, supercharged, like, super nice car. Like, everybody loved it, you know. Felt cool when I drove it. The fact of the matter is, there's that one day where I realized that it wasn't worth the money. I could have, like, I remember sitting there looking at my supercharger on the ground when I was rebuilding my engine, and just being like, I could travel to Australia with that money, you know. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. And I don't know how old you are. Maybe it comes with age, but right now you're wasting, you're squandering a good opportunity. And I hope that you do sell it and get a newer van. Just take all that money, maybe pocket $2,000 for upgrades, or maybe emergency fund if something goes wrong with the van. But I mean, if you get a newer Westphalia, and like I said, a newer camper van. Here, let's check this out real quick. So, let's just do a quick eBay. The computer's been acting kind of weird lately, so hopefully it goes fast. Camper van. Look at that. 94 Pleasureway. $15,000. Pre-owned 94. It's basically, this is basically the newer version of mine. It's a Dodge van. New tires, water heater, TV, back bed, water, electrical outlet, nice interior, full kitchen. Sorry, I had my finger on there. But Onan generator, roof vent, full shower. $107,000 miles on it. Same generator as mine. First eBay thing that came up, you know. I mean, literally all I have to do is just go to eBay. I mean, look at all these, all camper vans. Just do the research, man. That's all you have to do. You are in a very good position right now, believe it or not, because you're thinking about this, you're wanting to do it. You just gotta pull the trigger, dude. I mean, at this point, you want to do it. You have the options. You have people that know what they're talking about. So, I think you had some more questions. I know this has gone on for half an hour now. I'm just gonna do this in one video. What's the other question you had? I expected you to use... you're thinking about a Ford Falcon. That's the one I was actually looking at before I bought this. Great vans, and never heard anything bad about them. So, postscriptum. The TV in some of my videos finally sold for the exact asking price, despite months of rejecting lowball offers and putting it toward my savings. I just don't think I can part with the car at this time. That's a question you need to ask yourself. You be able to part with that car or not? That's what it comes down to it. So, if you have any other questions, if any of you guys have any questions whatsoever, just write a comment on this video. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, these are all just my personal opinions. This is things I lived through, how I ended up with this van, living in my friend's side yard, getting ready to head up to Alaska. So, I mean, anybody watching this, you can do it as well. Living proof. It's really not that hard. Once you get started, it's very hard to stop, actually. So, yeah. Any other questions, let me know, guys.